Hey, Erzgat here, and it's time to talk about Dandadan. And this episode, I have a feeling it's leaning a bit into a build up for the training arc that is coming. And if you guys know me, you know me, I love training arcs. And I'm liking the breakdown that Turbo Granny gave a bit about the powers and how it works at the end of the episode and how it's connected to music. We're gonna talk a bit more about that, but probably the beginning of the episode was really fun there, picking up from last week with Maid Momo here, and some tension between the characters that is happening throughout this episode. But before we get into talking about this episode, I just have to say I'm dying of heat over here. It's so hot, so that's probably why I'm so shiny. And it's insane having to record with light in my face. I need my fan, but if I turn on the fan, it's gonna come across in the video, so we're gonna go through it with this. But anyway, let's get into the episode and talk about it. Picks up from last week with Maid, Momo, and Okarun being dragged there by the friends. The friends were awesome, especially last episode, best wingmans that you can ever have. But here, they were teasing Momo so much. That was fun, and Momo being shy, she looked so cute into that, and Okarun didn't know what to do, how to handle that entire situation there. Super cutesy moments at the start there, and if your friends don't tease you, you don't have the right friends. I'm sorry, best friends over here. But after this, when they finally leave, Okarun decides to stay with Momo, but I like how they left that picture they took there in his pocket, and he wants to stay with her until her shift is over, but she says no, she refuses. He pushes back a bit, but then agrees to leave. And I'm like, okay, dude, you have to come back, right? You have to come back. He actually leaves, and I like how Momo actually looked back. Hey, is he gonna come back? Is he gonna stay? Maybe fighting a bit more for that that moment there, but he does actually leave, and we're gonna get back to that. And I felt this one so much when you're at work, or when you're waiting on something, or when you're doing something you don't enjoy, or waiting in line over something. Keep checking the clock. We all have done this, we're all probably gonna do it more. Just keep checking the clock. That was Mom was doing throughout all of the moe kyun made things. I felt that in my bones. That brought a lot of pain. They're just checking the clock. I need to be out of here. But she did get a bit into the May thing. She did a good job there. They even said, hey, you can come back again here. But when she actually goes out, I have to say, damn, the vibe of the night street there, it looked so cool on both sides. I think I'm probably gonna make some wallpapers of those two pictures, especially you have two monitors. Can have one on your first monitor, the other one on your second monitor. Looks so cool. That night vibe is awesome, especially my color scheme. I really like that color scheme there. And speaking of maids, I highly recommend you guys check out Akiba Maid War. Maids, but yeah, interesting maids. That's all I'm gonna say. Please check out Akiba Maid War if you like that sort of thing, and it's gonna get serious. Maids with guns. Enjoy that. But after this, I was like, he has to come back, right? This is your moment, Okarun. Don't miss it. She's looking a bit alone there, thinking, and he does actually show up. Like, good, Okarun, you did what you needed to do. He shows up. He's there for her to take her home. He even had the picture and the cute moment when she grabbed his hand, because it's just cold. I know, it's cold. Of course it is. So yeah, that was the fun, cute moment of the start of the episode. I really hope at some point we're gonna get some actual development on this relationship, because you guys know me, I'm not the romance guy. I like romance when it's not just the main plot here. If it's just the main plot and we're gonna have 500 chapters or 500 episodes and they're still not advancing the relationship, I'm gonna be a bit annoyed, because we all know it. They're great for each other. The chemistry is awesome. Characters, the dynamics between them. I really hope at some point they're gonna fully end up together. But after this, we have back home. Gigi is still training there, testing to see if he can hold back Evil Eye. He does it a bit. It still needs some work. It was close there. He struggled a bit, but slowly with work he's gonna get there. But I don't know if they're gonna have the time, or if he's gonna fully be able to do that. And of course, accidents still happening. Gigi and Ira bump into each other, and Evil Eye has been planning on getting up, to say the least. He makes his evil spirit's barrier there, even blocks the others out. Okarun on the outside still feeling powerlessness, not being able to help Momo in that situation, her being inside and even restrained. And I feel this and everything so far has been pushing Okarun more and more for him to get stronger there. But yeah, Evil Eye goes after Momo, starts attacking her. She fights back a bit with her power. He still pushes through it, and she had a mouthful full of water, which allows them to defuse the situation. But that was just lucky and way too close for comfort, to say the least. They have to figure out how to do this, and like I said, there's more tension between the characters, especially Okarun and Gigi a bit. Or at least that's how I felt when Okarun jumped in. He moved Gigi aside, and he was shocked and in guilt. He felt guilty over that. Of course, it wasn't his fault, but I get where Gigi was coming from, still feeling guilty of that, and kind of seeing how worried Okarun is for Momo and how Momo was attacked there. She took it fine, more than fine, what happened there. She knows it's not Gigi's fault, but then we also see that Seiko got wounded when she tried to use the seal on the barrier. It didn't work there. Ira also apologizing to Momo, and we know that took a lot considering how their dynamic is here, and Okarun still wanting to be stronger there. But yeah, then we have Okarun going to the alien guy at the cow farm, and I like how he was disguised as a human there, wanting for him to get trained into throwing a punch there, but he gets flat out refused because violence is bad until you actually do violence. But hey, at least he helped out on the farm. Maybe he built up some stamina, so who knows. We know he needs stamina since the beginning of the series. But what I liked here was a bit of realism. The conversation between Manjiro and Seiko was probably the best conversation in the entire episode. Seiko showing how far she's willing to go for the kids, to give them a chance to be kids, to be there for him, to allow them to do what they want. But Manjiro's bringing up a very good point. It's also parents' job to bring reality into this conversation. I'm paraphrasing a bit, and yeah, they're both right considering how they're gonna handle Evil Eye, but at the same time, it's not gonna be as easy. It's very easy to say, yeah, let's do it, let's keep trying, but sometimes they're probably gonna have to pay a price for this. What if Evil Eye actually escapes and kills somebody, and how long is it gonna take until Gigi is able to fully contain him, or is he even gonna be able, even though he's a prodigy? But yeah, I really like that conversation and its implications quite a lot here, so we have to see how they're gonna handle Evil Eye moving forward. And also liked Okarun reading, I think that was Ashtana Jojo of Tomorrow, the manga, a bit, to learn how to throw a punch. But what was great there, Turbo Granny stepping in and asking him, do you want to know how to throw a punch or actually get stronger? And yes, he says get stronger, because even if you learn how to throw a punch, you don't have the power, it doesn't really matter there for him. And they go on a training trip to sneak into the school there, and of course Ira is stalking, and the bickering between Ira and Turbo Granny is great, and the dual personality that Ira has when she's talking to anybody else but Okarun is awesome. No, it wasn't me, it was Silky that had those bad words, saying no, but then at the same time she says those bad words. Dual personality there. But like I said at the start, I liked Turbo Granny's breakdown of the power system a bit, in a way, using music, again, the universal language. Like I said, last episode, man, I'm still listening to the song on repeat from last episode here, but teaching him a bit of the rhythm of the powers and the combat there, and kind of training him. I liked how snarky he's jumping. That was a fun moment. But on the serious thing, it's about technique, not speed. She's still very touchy about anybody being faster than her, so Evil Eye is not faster than her. It's kind of like a turn-based game in a way, how the power system works, or at least how I understood it here. you have more actions in your turn. Okarun has 2 switches, that's how she called it. 4 switches for Silk. Even Aira has 4 actions in her turn in a way, but Evil Eye can get to up to 10 switches with the ball, with the barrier, with everything, all of his techniques. So technique, it's about technique, not speed here, and having to learn that rhythm, input more actions in your turn in a way. That's at least how I understood it there, but I'm liking this, breaking down a bit more the power system. Hopefully Okarun is gonna get a power up, and I know by the way the series is going, Gigi is probably gonna end up in control of Evil Eye. I would be surprised if somehow he doesn't. I'm just curious how that is going to happen and how the dynamic and relationship is going to be between him and Evil Eye at the same time, and with the entire group, because we see how the dynamic is now with Turbo Granny, but it's gonna be interesting how Evil Eye is gonna be integrated into this group. But before we get into that, we have big head ghosts being mad at the bad notes, and they start showing up. So next episode is going to be interesting. I think they're composers there, correct me if I'm wrong. At first I also thought they're presidents, but it's just the wigs, the old wigs they used to wear there. But yeah, next episode is going to be interesting. This one was more of a build-up episode and setting up the tension, which I like that also. Not every episode needs to be hype, insane combat or flashy actions like we had with the music or the fights between Evil Eye here. Moments and episodes like this build up a lot more when you get to those climax moments, and a lot of series could learn from this. Not everything needs to be action non-stop. It kind of diminishes a bit from that, and giving characters moments and story time to breathe, it's a lot more important than just non-stop action. But let me know what you guys thought about the episode in the comments below, and as always, thank you very much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, helps me quite a lot, and you guys get the latest videos on the series that I follow. So keep enjoying Dandadan. I'm gonna go die of heat, finally be able to turn on my fan. I'm gonna see you again on the next one. Bye bye.